Alright, need to pull these in a little bit here. So I'm going to zoom in. We're going to grab our move tool. I'm going to open that radius up just a little bit. I'm going to bring my sculpt over here by our reference so I can see what we're doing. Oh, which do I prefer? Creality Multiprint. Is that software? Multiprint? Is that what you're talking about? Creality. No, that's Creality Print. It's Frank backwards. Nice. That is creative. I like that. I like that. All right, so let's see. We're working with this ear. We're trying to get it into its final shape. This guy's probably like, gosh, you guys, all you do is talk about 3D printing. Let's get to sculpting. Am I right? Yeah, I don't really have a preference. Creality Multiprint. Is that an application, or are you talking printers now? Oh, no, I know you're here. I just don't want you getting frustrated because all we do is talk and not get any work done. All right. Just still shaping this head out here. Again, I'm not worried about the lower portion because we're going to add that. All right. The body. No, one of their multi-printers. I'm not sure what the printer is called exactly. All right. Creality Multiprint. I need to look that up. Creality Multiprint. Creality. You talking about multicolor printing? Multicolor printing. Okay. Yeah, I have one of those. It's called a K2 Plus combo. Yeah, K2 Plus. That's one of my printers. I've got the K2 Plus combo. The K2 Plus with 2 CFS units. I've got 3 Carbon X1s by Bamboo, actually the original ones from the Kickstarter. And then I've got a Bamboo H2D and a Voron that I hand built. So Form, what was the other one? You said Form, what was it? Form, Flashforge. Let's see, Flashforge 85X, there we go, 85X. Yeah, I haven't heard anything bad about Flashforge. So I guess it comes down to what the capabilities are. Now, it looks like the 85X can only take 4 colors. Can only print 4 colors. Am I wrong there? Just to get, based on what I'm looking at here. Tell you what, let's jump over to their website real quick. Flashforge. We don't need that anymore. High-speed full-color printing, 4 colors. Yeah, it prints in 4 colors. Whereas the Creality K2, Creality.com, will print in flagship K2 Plus. That's the one that we have. We don't need to see your video, but if we go to parameters, it will print up to, I believe, 16 colors, not including the side. So that would actually be 17 if you include the side spool. So yeah. Creality is also at least 3 times the price of the Flashforge. So that's something to consider as well. I just got the 85X and had to replace the platform bus and leveling sensor assembly after 2 days. Yeah. Yep, that's not good. I won't tell you all. I won't go into detail on my issues with my Creality K2 because it wasn't pretty. I had CFS issues, and took me a year to get them sorted out. Fortunately, I didn't need the printer desperately. But yeah, it took me a year to get it sorted out, and I was really close to selling it. Finally got it sorted out, and I'm very happy with it now. But, and not everybody's experience, it's not everybody's experience when that kind of stuff happens. But it does happen enough where people get frustrated and angry. And yeah, like I said, I haven't heard anything bad, but I'll be honest, I haven't really done any research on the 85X. So if you're having good experience with it, that's what matters. All right, so we're just getting our proportions set, positioning our elements. I'm going to give them a little bit of a lean here. Actually, I think we've got, okay, for some reason my stylus has suddenly decided to not work. I don't know why. Hold on, grab the move tool. All right, looks like Nomad is not happy at the moment. It happens once in a while. Not a lot, but once in a while. So let's just quit Nomad and restart it. There we go. All right, now it's moving. I am just repositioning our elements because I want to get everything in the right proportion and position before we start modifying them. I want to make these shoes a little beefier. So it sounds like everyone has a Bambu Lab and enjoys it. Well, I wouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people do. Bambu Lab kind of changed the printing industry. I've been 3D printing for about 13 years. And I'll just say this, that a lot of things have changed dramatically with Bambu Lab coming on the scenes. Okay. Legs are a little long. Let's fix that. Yeah, Bambu Lab really shook the industry up when they came out with their stuff. There we go. All right, I'm liking our proportions here. Sky, what happens? Once in a while, Nomad just decides to do what it wants to do, and that's why it's always good to make sure that you save your models, because occasionally something will happen. And since we have this isometric in the background, I'm just going to check our proportions. Look at that. We are almost spot on without any actual measurements. Nice. I like when that happens. It doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes it does, and it just makes me happy. All right, let me lock this down so we can move our reference over. All right. I think the arms are a little long too. Let's pull those in a little bit because we're going to add hands, and things are just going to go crazy from there. Okay. And don't delete the app. Yeah, if you delete the app, you'll take all of your scenes and stuff with you. And that is why I use... I thought it was here. Yeah, it is. There it is. That's why I keep everything backed up on this. Ta-da! It's a 4 terabyte external flash drive. I do all of my video editing for content. I back up all of my Nomad models, textures, and all of that on here. Oh yeah, that'll mess up your day very quickly. Yep, not gonna lie. I haven't done it, but I've also worked with computers long enough to know, especially Mac, that if you delete something, everything goes with it. At least your phone tells you. You know, if you delete an app, it'll say, do you want to delete all the information? And it's like, yeah, I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't ask you to. But thanks for asking. Wish my computer asked me. Okay, let's see. I'm still not happy with this head profile, so we're just going to work on this a little bit more. Okay, it's in the right position with the ears, and the ears were eventually going to merge with the head. Maybe it's the ears I don't like. I think we can build, well, we might actually build those up. I think what might help is if we get his nose in place. So let's do that. So there's a couple of ways we can do this. All right, this is where we start getting crazy with the tools. We've got all of our proportions pretty spot on. Looks like the ears come out a little bit in the back. And I apologize. I am a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to this stuff. So, all right, that might fix the ear issue right there for me. Now we can also use the inflate tool and pull the back of this ear out a little bit like this. Let's increase the size of our tool. I'm going to turn the intensity down. Turn it down even more. I don't want it to happen quickly. The intensity tool is your friend. By the way, a little pro tip here is if you do not know this, you can increase and decrease the intensity up to 100%, right? But if you want to, you can go over 100%. You can get crazy. Now, I wouldn't go up to 900%, but that goes for your smooth tool too. If you're having problems getting something to smooth out, just push that intensity over 100% and watch the results. Okay? If you didn't know that, now you do, and that's free. You're welcome. All right. All righty. Let's see. All right, let's go ahead and put his snout in here. So I'm thinking out of the gate, I think I might want to use a couple of spheres for the outer edge and then pull geometry out of there. We could grab our mask tool and pull a mask and then pull geometry from it and then modify that. But I think that'll be a lot more work than we want it to be. So I think, especially considering how far his snout comes out from the head. So amazing. I want to learn how to 3D model. Son CJ, you're in the right place. Give us a follow. Hang out with us for a while. We're here every week. Tip your waitress. No, I'm kidding. All right, so I'm going to throw another sphere in here. We're going to move it up here. We're going to scale it down. And then we're going to go look at it from the side. Looks like he's got a growth on his neck here. Okay, this is the sphere in question. We're going to scale it down. All right. And we're going to stretch it out that way a little bit. Just get the profile, kind of set up our profile the way that we want. Okay. And then let's go back to the front. And now we're going to clone that sphere. And the clone, we're going to mirror. All right. And we're going to move it off to the side like this. And then we're going to pull it back again into the side of his head. All right, so we're kind of building up that lower jaw snout area. All right, let's lock down so we can move our reference over. All right, so we're going to compress this a little bit more. I'm going to validate this shape so we can start sculpting it a little bit. I'm going to move it, pull the bottom here so it's even with the bottom of his nose. I'll pull this down here. I want the snout here. Oh, I got to validate it. Duh. All right. Let's go ahead. As I said before, I like to keep naming my objects. So we'll call this nose. And this will be his jowl. We'll call it cheek. Jowl is just such a harsh name for an object, even though that's kind of what it is. Looks like it comes up here, so let's go ahead and move this up a little bit. Kind of suggestive of that smile. The nose, same thing. I want this to come up a little bit. He's got a perky nose, so I'm going to pull his nose up a little bit there. All right, we're kind of getting the profile here. You can see it. It's not 100%. Hey, T21, thanks for coming. Thanks for showing up. We've been wondering where you're at. We're glad that you've joined us. I'm kidding. We weren't wondering, but we're glad you joined us nonetheless. All right, I'm going to adjust this head shape just a little bit more here in the back. And again, we still have silhouette. No, we don't. Yikes. What was I thinking? Silhouette is not turned on. Now we got to start over. I'm kidding, Sky. Don't get alarmed. I joke a lot. Ask my kids. Okay. All right. Do I offer private lessons for Nomad? Yes, I do, actually. They're very expensive. I will tell you that in advance. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. At this time, I do not. I am in the process, by request, putting together a structured... hold on, I just got an alert from Reddit. Where did that come from? Sorry, that's weird. Do you offer private lessons for Nomads? So no, I don't as of yet. I have gotten a lot of requests, believe it or not, for that. So I am planning to put together, it's not done yet, so don't go out there looking for it. I am planning to put together a structured course for people that are interested in learning Nomad from beginner through advanced. And I will do my best to do it either this evening or tomorrow, definitely by this weekend. I'm going to put a form. If you go to TikTok, you're already on TikTok, click on my bio link right here, and that's going to open up a page that looks like this. I am going to put a form in here. I know I've talked about this before. I'm going to put a form in here for people that are interested in a long form tutorial based program that will walk you front to finish through simple projects and then get into the more complicated things, engineering, texturing, all kinds of things that you can do with Nomad to produce things like this. All right. And again, there's a lot of engineering as well as the creative stuff that went through this, or went into this, I should say, and stuff like this. Sorry, I'm going off mic here. Give me a sec. I'm going to put it together. So something, more complicated like this. And so what people will be able to do is sign up on the form. This will not only allow me to gauge interest, but then in addition, when the series is ready, I'll be able to just send out a quick email that says, okay, everybody, it's ready. Here's where you sign up, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, I actually had a woman contact me from Italy. She's like, I will pay you to train me, privately. And I'm like, it's tempting, but then you guys would never see me because I'm all off doing private training. So I figured if I do a structured course, and I've done training courses in the past for other companies and set them up on platforms, paid platforms, etc. And I think I'm just going to do it through Patreon. So if you're a Patreon member, you will have access to the training and other perks as well. I do have, again, if you go to my link page right here, these are all the places where you can find my models. My Mini Factory is the place where you'll find most of them. Stuff that we've done in the past. A lot of you have actually sat and watched me create a lot of these. You can join our tribe if you're commercial, and I don't have any tribe members yet, but I am looking for my first one, so you can be first. $10 a month, you can commercially sell prints of all of our stuff. I do have prints or models on cults and on Thangs, but only the holiday collection, only the stuff I did for the holidays. The rest of my collection will eventually be up here, but right now, My Mini Factory is where everything is at. Hey, Lep, how you doing? Hey, Lep, I wanted to talk to you, actually. Are you still out there? Give me a heck yes if you're still there. Yeah. Hey, do me a favor. Let's connect when you get a second. I need you to walk me how to set up, like you had the other day, the multi-guest, where you had like tiles where people could punch the tile and request to be a guest on your live. I did for the first time, because TikTok's changed a lot in the last 4 years since I first got involved 3 or 4 years ago. And I was trying to find where to set up that multi-guest, where you punch the button. And I couldn't get it set up right. And I had to restart my live, and it was just kind of weird. But I'm doing a Foundry report, which I used to do 3 years ago, a once weekly get together where people can come, kind of like what we did the other day on your live stream. But if you got a minute, I'd like to connect with you. We can either FaceTime or Discord. I've got a Discord if you want to join my Discord, and we can do a Discord thing. You can walk me through the steps to set that up, because I totally failed at it this morning, and I don't want everybody else to suffer for my inadequacies. So, yeah, if you could help me out with that, that would be awesome. And for all of you just joining us, Sky from Paw Patrol, and I believe it is actually the Sky from Paw Patrol, asked me if we could model Tails from Sonic. So that's what we're doing here. We're just demoing this. Yeah, Lep, send me a DM or whatever, or if you want to email me at ldfoundries@gmail.com, just let me know what your availability is so we can chit chat. And I would greatly appreciate it. This weekend, we can do it this weekend. Yeah. Let's see, this weekend. Saturday night, I'm watching the Bears crush the Packers, so anytime but Saturday night. Actually, if you DM me, I'll send you my phone number. You can just give me a call, too. We can do it that way. Alrighty. All right, let's get back to Tails here. All right, let's do, again, I'm doing the major stuff here. We'll do the sculpting once we get our major components in place. Let's grab another tube. I want to do his forehead stuff. That stuff has been staring me in the face, and it's just like, okay, let's do it. So we're going to do it. I'm going to turn on my grid, and we're going to go ahead and drop a couple of pieces here. Boom. And yes, I did say the Bears are going to crush the Packers. It's just, I'm sorry. Hopefully they do, and don't make me out to be an idiot. If they don't, they don't. Hey, may the best team win, seriously. But the best team is the Bears. Hopefully there's no Packers fans on here. Or if there is, hey, what can I say? All right, I'm going to move this to the center. I've turned on snap to grid, so it snaps right to the middle, which is exactly where I want it. Even though it's a little off-center here, I'm going to put it in the middle for now. We can move it later. All right, now we're going to tweak the shape. So the first one isn't, I'm going to turn snap off. We don't need that on now. You a Chiefs fan? I am too when the Bears aren't playing. I'm a huge Chiefs fan. And I'm really sorry that they did not make the playoffs this year, but I guess everybody can't make it. Am I right? And I'm sorry that Mr. Mahomes had the injury. Actually, I don't like to see anybody get injured. So I'm not one of those people that's like, kill him. It's like, no. Be nice. Play nice. We all have lives outside of our jobs, am I right? All right, so we're going to clone this. We're going to move this down, make another hair strand. And we will clone it one more time. And rotate it in place. And there we go. All right. Okay, so again, we're going to tweak the individual strands here just a little bit. Get it right where we want it. I think that's appropriate. What do you guys think? We got the right scale, we got the right position. All right. I'm going to do something that I should be doing more often. We're going to save. So if Nomad decides to take a dive on us, we won't be so upset. All right, so I think now what we need to do real quick is we need to go ahead and flesh out the hands. But one thing I'm concerned about is it's 4:13. My dinner date is at 6. It's not a date. It's just dinner with a friend. If it was a date, I would be in trouble because I am married. Unless, of course, I'm going out to dinner with my wife, and that's a different story. Anyway, we're going to be running short on time here, so I want to make sure that we don't, that we have time to at least get close to finishing this. So we're not going to do the hands right now. We are going to start fleshing out the other objects. So like the cuffs, the feet, the legs. I'll show you some techniques there. So let's start, where do we want to start? Let's start with let's start with the legs. All right, so the first thing you're going to notice about the legs is they got a little bit of a bow going there. All right, so we're going to put another point in here, and we're just going to pull that out a little bit like that. All right. We can wait until you get home from dinner. Yeah, well, my wife wants a little bit of my time this evening. So what we're going to do is we're going to do as much as we can today. All right. And then I'll definitely be back here tomorrow afternoon, probably around 1:30, 2 o'clock at the latest. And whatever we don't finish today, we'll pick up with tomorrow. So there you go. All right. So once again, the legs, it doesn't show it so much on this, but on the previous one that we saw, his legs were a little wider at the bottom than they were at the top. So what we're going to do is just turn on our starting and ending radius. And the ending radius, which is the bottom of the legs, we're just going to widen that out a little bit like that. Okay? And we're going to do the same thing with the arms. We're going to turn on the starting and ending radius, and we're going to widen his arms a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit at the end. Okay? Like so. Okay. Now, let's look at these socks. All right. Again, you'll see we've got a little bit of a wrinkle going on in the socks, right? Now this is what it looks like. All right, it's not really centered on our legs, so let's go ahead and fix that. Let's pull this over here at the top. And actually, proportionally, I'm going to widen the shoe just a smidge. Actually, I need to widen it even more, it looks like, or lengthen it, not widen it. There we go. Yeah, that looks good proportionally. I might even scale it up just a little bit more. All right. Excuse me. Now, one thing real quick before we get any further, you see these little hairs coming out. I can pull those out of here, but I think I would actually be happier creating more tubes. Oops. Creating more tubes and then just merging them into the geometry. Okay, and I know right now they just look like tubes, which is exactly what they are. But I promise you, when we get done, these will look just like they're supposed to. All right, we've got one coming off there. All right, let's see, that curves up. So we got 4 total. How important is humidity with filament? Yes, humidity is very important. However, I live in a very humid climate here in Chicago, and I've only had issues with one roll of ABS that absorbed too much humidity out of the air and wound up being useless. I'm going to clone this whisker and move it down here. So I would say that if you have a dryer, and I have a couple of dryers that I quite frankly have hardly ever used, but if you have a dryer, that's the way that you solve the humidity issue, is you dry your filament. And again, in the amount of times that I have printed over the past 13 years, I've dried maybe 2 rolls of filament. And the humidity here is anywhere from 20 to 30% on a year-round basis. But you should take steps, do as much as you can to control the humidity. They do have containers that you can put into your printer, into the AMS, to control the humidity. I do have desiccant bags that I put into the containers that I store my filament, or the bags that I store my filament in, which helps, again, keep the moisture down. But yes, as much as you can, you should try to minimize the amount of humidity that that your filament is exposed to. I think at times humidity is blamed for a lot of print issues unfairly. And I'm not saying that humidity is getting a bad rap or anything. nothing like that. But I think a lot of problems are tied to humidity when really it comes down to either the printer not being set up or user error. So unfortunately, there's solutions to all. I haven't found a single problem with a printer yet that I haven't been able to solve. So filament, keeping your filament dry as much as you can, again, is probably the best approach. And then if you do get issues with humidity, then a dryer is your friend. The AMS2 Pro that I have comes with a power supply. You can plug it in so it can be used as a dryer right out of the box. Excuse me. But then there are also individual dryer solutions that you can buy as well. Okay, so let's see what we got here. I think you know what, I want to move this guy over here because I need to see the front more than I do the back right now. Okay, so let's see. All right. I suppose we could go ahead and rotate these arms in place. Let's go ahead and bring them down. Let's put a little curve in there. Okay, there we go. Yep, arm needs to be shorter. A little bit shorter. Thank you, Vision. All right. Let's see. All right, where are we at? We've got the ears, we've got the head. That proportion looks good. Looks like it might be a little wide at the base, but we'll tune that in a little bit. The body. All right, looks like we got the same thing going. I want to narrow the top of his body a little bit. Make him look a little more athletic. You know? All right, and then pull this in here a little bit. All right. What time do you have to get ready? What time is it? 4:22. I was going to take the pups for a little stroll, but we can do that tomorrow. So let's see. My dinner's at 6, which means I have to leave here at the latest at 5:30. So we've got about an hour. I should probably get ready about 5:15 or so. Actually, I think we'll cut it off at 5. I don't need to push it. All right, let's go ahead and save this. Now, most of you that work with me know I like to version things out, so we're going to save a version. So if I need to go back, oh shoot, I saved it in the wrong place. Let's do that again. Delete. Open. All right, now I'm going to position this here. And now we'll save it as Research Tails V2. So it'll put it in the proper folder, see? Okay. We can wait till you walk the pup. I'm not going to walk the pup today. I think they'll get their walk tomorrow. No, I have to go to dinner. I have to be at a dinner get-together at 6. So, all right, let's see. We can narrow these a little bit. And again, I'm taking a little artistic liberty here with some of these elements, like these shoes are a little more, we can fix it later. Silhouette still turned on. Move silhouette should apply to the brush. It is. Tell you what, let's go ahead and just change these shoes right now. So we want them to be a little more squared off here at the top. If we're being true to the original. There we go. That looks a little better. And let's look at it from the side. Same thing. Yeah. So we're going to pull this front of this shoe up a little bit like this. And pull the back a bit like that. There we go. And I see now that our socks need to be a little beefier. So let's go ahead and do that. Yep, I like that. These could probably stand to be just a little bigger too. Speaking of bigger, Mr. Bigger and Mrs. Bigger had a baby. Which one was the biggest? Yes, this is a riddle. Which one was the biggest? Anybody know? Don't be bashful. Take a guess. All right, let's save this. So we saved it as V2. It's going to save it again as V2. Now, if I want to do another version, I'll just put a V3 in there. And it will save it as V3. The baby is the biggest. You know why? Because he's a little bigger. Yeah, that's those dad jokes kicking in. My kids had to suffer through those for years. Now it's your turn. All right, let's see. I'm going to pull this down a little bit. This one is about right. All right. Okay, let me double check my proportions again. The hands will come down to about here, so that's good. All right, now we can do the chest, a little chest hair here, tufts of hair later. Actually, we'll do those a little differently than we do the cheeks. My question is, who's going to print this out in resin and show it to me? That's what I want to know. And yes, I am going to make this model publicly available for all of you who are wondering once we get this situated. Once we get it finished. All right. One place I haven't looked at it yet is from the top. Yeah, I want to flatten the front of his face just a little bit. So let's lock that down. And let's pull that in just a little bit and pull it out from the side because we're going to have his eyes in the front of his head. And I want there to be a little separation, but I want the eyes facing forward. Thank you. Now I only have to figure out Sonic. Oh, you're welcome. Maybe we'll do Sonic too, since this is going so swimmingly. All right. So we've got our basic primitives in place. We've got everything blocked out, except for the hands. We're not going to worry about the hands right now. I am going to tune this arm shape just a little bit to match the illustration. Again, so once we have everything positioned and composited, if our composition is pleasing, the way that we want, and we've got everything, fairly composed and positioned correctly. Now we can start, actually his head could be even bigger, couldn't it? Let's look at this from the front. Although we're right on with the front view, so we're just going to leave it the way it is. All right. Now we're going to start fine-tuning our shapes. So, for example, let's start with something simple. Let's start with these whiskers on the side of his face. Again, going back to our radius, we're going to start an ending radius, and we're going to pull these to a bit of a point here on each one. Starting and ending radius, pull it to a point. Now you can see that it gets to a point rather quickly, so I'm going to turn on the middle radius as well. And what we can do is we can fatten it up here, we can fatten it up here, and then we can pull it to a point quickly here. Like so. Oop. Yes, I see you. All right, so we're just going to pull these down. Starting, ending, actually all points radius. Inflate it. And then compress it down a little bit. All right, so that's starting to look a little more pointed, like his whiskers would be. Let's do the same thing up here. All points in between. I'm going to compress that down there. Turn it on for here, down to a point. Fatten it up a little bit here in the middle. Down to a point. Fatten it up here in the middle. All right. Let's do the same thing with the tail, shall we? Now we've got two tails, obviously. So what we do on one is going to reflect on the other because we've got symmetry turned on. All right, looks like his tail starts out a little bit narrow up at the place where it touches his body, and then we're going to fatten it up here and here, and we're going to bring this to a point here. And you just play with these values until you get it looking the way that you want. And of course, the positioning is important. Comes off of his backside. Doesn't hang down, it kind of pushes out and then does a little curly Q there. Whoop. We don't really need to see the bottom. There we go. All right, I'm going to pull this up here a little bit. Pull this out here. Put one more point there so we can get that curve on the tip. All right. All right, it's a little dramatic. We'll pull this off to the side so we can see it better. So I'm going to fatten it up even more here. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and give this a save so we don't lose our work. Now you'll notice that our object here, sorry, the music kind of cut out on us. Let me refresh that. Well, maybe it doesn't want to be refreshed. Tell you what. Let's open up another window and we'll do it manually. I need to increase the length of my playlist, I believe. Pixabay. I'm just using copyright music, or copyright-free music from Pixabay, in case anybody's wondering. Got a playlist out there I've put together, but like I said, obviously I need to add to it. And it's a little louder that way. All right, there we go. Anyway, so you'll notice here, yeah, it's just copyright-free music from Pixabay. I'm going to turn the grid off. That's kind of getting in the way here. So if you look here, our model has a lot of pixelation here, or a lot of tessellation, I should say. It's not pixelation. This tessellation can be eliminated by going down here to, before you edit this. Now, if you're already edited, you can control it through your voxel remesh or through your subdivision multi-res capability. But in this case, what we're going to do is we're just going to increase the topology of our shape, and that will smooth out our object dramatically. Okay, so I'm going to do that with all of these tube objects. We're just going to increase our topology, smooth things out. Okay. Should have done it before we cloned these. That way I wouldn't have to do it to each one. But that's okay. Okay. Actually, you know what we can do? We can pin this panel open. I forgot about this. So we'll just smooth that one, smooth this one. And then I think that's all of our nope, we got tubes for legs too. There we go. All right. A lot smoother. I'm going to save again. All right. How long do I have left? I have, what time is it? It's 4:36, so we've got about another 40 minutes. We'll go a little bit after 5. All right, so let's see, how are we doing here? Let me double check our proportions. It's funny because the side view shows his hair going below his ear line, and here it's above. I just think that's funny. It's not truly an isometric 3 view. This is called a 3 view, typically, in 3D world. And then I'm going to put a little bit of a bend on his legs, because nobody stands with their legs perfectly straight. If they do, they'll pass out. That's not a good thing. All right. Oops. So if you didn't know this, as a 3D sculptor in Nomad, if you're using spline curves to define your object, like in this case the tube, if you tap that, it'll make a sharp corner rather than a curve. Ordinarily that's not what you want, but in some situations it may be a look that you want, so that's how you do that. In this case, we don't want that. All right. Moving on. Sorry, the music's a little loud, I know. Let me know if it's too loud. We can turn it down. Okay, that's our back. All right, let's look things over here. I'm going to lock this down. All right, so we've gone ahead and we've blocked everything out. We've created, using our primitives, we've created our whiskers and things like that. But now we need to start merging these shapes together to get more of an organic sculpt going. Okay, so I'm going to save a version. This will be version 3. Tails V3. Let's make sure it's in the right folder, and it is. Okay. And now we're going to grab these pieces here, and we're going to validate them first. We can't do anything with them until they're validated, so let's just go ahead and take care of that. And I'm going to grab all 4 of these. I'm holding down my shift key on my keyboard. So I've grabbed the whiskers, I've grabbed the nose and the cheeks, and we're going to come up here and we're going to do what's called a voxel remesh. Nope, actually we need to take it out of the mirror. Let's see, that's the ear. Let me rename this again real quick. We trimmed it so it gave it a different name. Sucks. So I'm going to pull the, let's see, we need our whiskers. I'm not going to bother naming these because we're actually just going to, actually just redo them or merge them together, and it's going to change the name anyway, so I'm just going to put them all together up here. All right, so there's our whiskers, right? Now we only have them on one side. That's okay. We're going to create our own mirror. I'm going to add a mirror to them. And now you see they've reappeared. So before the mirror, after the mirror. All right. And now I'm going to validate this mirror. And we're just going to join the children. So everything becomes one object on the whiskers. And then we've got our cheeks. That's its own mirror. I'm going to pull this up here. We're going to name these whiskers, again, so we can keep everything straight. We're going to validate this mirror. Okay, that's the cheeks. Okay, that's the cheeks. That's the cheeks. Okay. So we got our cheeks, we got our whiskers, and now we need our nose. That's already named nose. So I'm just going to parent this all to each other. So I'm going to put the whiskers and the cheeks on the nose. And now we will be able to mesh these all together. And the reason we're going to mesh these together is because you can see a division line here where all of these things intersect with each other. But by remeshing them, I'm going to weld all of these things together. And now using my smooth tool, I can come in and we can clean up this junction where everything attaches to everything else and make it look a lot more organic. See that? And this is where the true power of sculpting in Nomad comes to life, when you can do stuff like this. And you can do further sculpting, of course. Now, because this is white and his head is yellow, we will leave this as a separate piece of geometry. Okay. Whoop. That happens once in a while. I've got buttons on this stylus that if I hit it, it does some funky things every once in a while. Can that music get any louder? My goodness. Come on, people. All right. Don't forget the puzzle piece. Yep, you lost me there. So, on that note, that was a call from the missus, and I have got to actually cut this short because I am getting ready to head out to dinner. But if you join us tomorrow, we will pick up where we left off here and finish this guy. And who knows, maybe we'll do Sonic too, as long as we're in the neighborhood, so to speak. But tomorrow we'll be adding color to his tail. We'll finish the socks, we'll finish the shoes, we'll add eyes, we'll merge this with the head, the tail, we'll finish out the ears, merge that with the head. What else? And then, of course, we'll create the hands and then pose this guy in the final pose that we want him. Or we may just leave him like this. Where's my pen? Yeah, we need this pulled in a little bit, rounded. Like so. All right, well, hopefully this has been entertaining, if nothing else. And of course, if it's been slightly educational, throw us a follow. And show up to our next live, which tomorrow, like I said, should be around, we should be back on here tomorrow around, like I said, around 2. I was trying to get here by 2 today, but I got wrapped up with some other things, and it took me a little longer to get here. So yeah, we'll continue this tomorrow. All right. In the meantime, everybody have a good day. Be good to each other, and I don't really know anything else to say on the sign-off, so just have a good rest of your day, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow. All right? Thanks, everybody. We'll talk soon. Take care.